I'm David Hennaman, the R3 coordinator for the Virginia Department of Wildlife Resources. With deer season right around the corner, we're going to get out in the woods today and talk about scouting on public land for deer in Virginia. Understanding where and how to scout for deer on public land is key to a successful hunt. Today we'll talk about the fundamentals of deer scouting, help you understand not just what to look for, but why these signs are important and what they mean. Before you get ready for your day in the field, we'll talk about pre-scouting. This means looking at a mapping app like Google Earth, OnX, Spartan Forge, or HuntStand, because you want to know the area you're going into, know the boundary lines, ensure you don't get lost, and it'll help you plan your time in the field. Before I head out, I'm going to grab my Blaze Orange, spray down with bug spray, use sunscreen, and grab enough water to keep me hydrated while I scout. Scouting is good to do during closed season or around midday so you minimize your disturbances to other hunters. Deer are crepuscular, which means that they're most active during the low light periods of dawn and dusk. This activity pattern influences their movement between feeding and bedding areas. There are three basic seasons which vary slightly throughout the state. Early season, which is October into November, deer are primarily feeding on shoots and grasses. During the mid-season, mid-November through December, deer shift to mass-producing crops like acorns. In the late season, December into January, deer seek out standing grains like corn, beans, or wheat. Now to the fun part, getting into looking for deer sign. This is how we locate good indicators that deer have been in or are staying in an area. I usually start looking in the woods for game trails. Game trails are well-defined trails that deer or other wildlife use to move back and forth between bedding and food sources. So starting back here, I'm walking down a really well-defined game trail. You can see where the deer have actually crushed the grass down, and I don't know whether you can see it or not, but there's a depression where so many hooves have come through here that it's beaten the dirt down in the actual trail. These are great places to start looking for sign because obviously a lot of wildlife is using this area. A deer's bedding area will change throughout the year. During the early season and hot weather, a lot of times they're looking for places with shade and light wind during the daytime. Once the weather turns cold, they're looking for areas that get sun earlier in the morning, and typically south-facing slopes or cutovers with openings to the south are great places to find deer bedded up during cold weather in the day. Shed antlers are another sign that you'll find that deer use in an area very consistently. Each year, bucks lose their antlers to regrow another set. So rodents have chewed on this shed right here to get some nutrients out of it. Shed's probably about a year old. Once I've found a good game trail, I definitely am going to keep my eyes open for tracks. It seems pretty simple, but larger tracks typically mean larger deer. So I'm looking for large tracks over and over through a several day period. So coming down this deer trail, we're able to find some tracks right here. So that's a pretty good sized track. Look back, you see some. They're not super fresh, but they've probably been laid down in the last week or so. So great indicator that deer are using this little clearing in the woods to traverse back and forth between a bedding area and a food source. So scat is another indicator of deer using the area frequently. So you can see deer droppings basically round in shape, and they'll be spread out over a little pile. Deer rubs are where a buck uses his antlers to actually rub the bark of a tree. It's a marking activity as well as something that they do to remove velvet from their antlers during the late summer months. So this is a very fresh rub right here. It's got sap still coming out of the tree. If you look at the ground, there's still actually bark that's peeled off of the tree on the ground. Deer's gonna use this tree to rub the velvet off of his antlers once they become hard-horned, and also to scent mark so other deer know he's been in the area. Scrapes are an opening created by bucks used as a form of communication and territorial marking. A buck clears a small area on the ground, usually with his front hoofs, and then uses its tarsal glands located on the back of its legs to deposit scent through urination. Additionally, scrapes typically have a licking branch above them, where a buck will rub its preorbital gland and leave even more scent. The combination of Ground and aerial scent markers serve as a multifaceted calling card, asserting the buck's presence and dominance in the area. Does will also interact with these scrapes, using them to pick up a buck's scent. If a doe is ready to breed, she may urinate over the scrape to leave her own scent, signaling her receptiveness. So this is what a fresh scrape would look like. There's no leaves in it. It's been recently cleaned out. You can see some of the leaves have been pushed back onto the trail. There's a nice open dirt area right here. See a wet spot in the middle where the deer's actually urinated in it. And then up above, there's a licking branch where he's taken his head and his antlers and he's pulled this branch down to work it and leave his scent up high as well. Scouting should be a year-long process. Understanding deer, the sign they leave, their behaviors, and their habitats will greatly increase your odds of success. If you look for something different or do something different on your scouting missions, leave it in the comments. Be safe, be seen, wear your blaze orange, and good luck this season.